we are not less, but we are well underway of the 2026 World Cup. Hi there, let me switch my camera. Here, there's a wall of noise outside. Let me just go show you guys. The fandom is crazy right now. But anyway, enough of that. It is that time again where we are going to predict who's going to win the World Cup, all that stuff. So, like in Qatar 2022 for the Euro 2024, I predicted, I guessed horribly. We're going to do the same thing now, but I'm not going to ramble as long as... Don't look at my snacks. We're not going to ramble as long as we did because there's a round of 32 this year. So I'm going to keep it short. Let's get right into it. I know you can see my reflection, but starting off in Group A, we have Mexico, South Korea, South Africa, and the Czech Republic. South Africa making their first World Cup since 2010. And judging from today's match with Mexico versus South Africa and seeing how Czech Republic and South Korea are going to do today, my prediction is Mexico will be first, South Korea will be second, the Czech Republic will be third, and South Africa were awful today. So... yeah, if they keep playing like they did today, 2 red cards, the 1 Mexico red card, debatable. Should not have been red, if you ask me. But if they play like they did today, they going out in the tournament. But this is what I'm thinking. Next up, we have Canada, Qatar, Switzerland, and Bosnia in Group B. Bosnia making their first World Cup since 2014, which is funny because their playoff with Bosnia and Italy. Both teams have missed 3 World Cups. Bosnia... have in general missed 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 6 tournaments. Italy only missing 3 World Cups, but they made the other Euros. So, yeah, I don't know what's worse. But, all right, so for judging from here, Switzerland's going to go top, easy. Bosnia, I think they'll make second. Their squad, I have some things to say about their squad. I think their coach isn't that good. But I think they'll pull off a surprise and go second. And Canada, they'll pull off third. It's a race between Bosnia and Canada, if you ask me, for second and third. And Qatar, oh, yeah, they were so good in the World Cup when they hosted. Yeah, get out of here, bro. They're horrible, okay? Group C, Brazil, Haiti, Morocco, and Scotland first. Come on. Look at the group. 0 competition. And second place is going to go to Morocco. They were a surprise bundle in 2022, making the third place game against Croatia, to which they lost. And they're the first African team in history to make a World Cup semifinal. So expect them to do some big things, even though they just lost a couple players to injury. I can't think off the top of their head, but they lost a couple players to injury. Scotland, I think, because of Haiti in this group, they'll go into the group, the knockout rounds for the first time in... years or something like that, and Haiti, yeah, goodbye. Group D, the USA, Australia, Paraguay, and Turkey. Tomorrow there's a watch party for USA Paraguay in my town, so I wonder how that'll be like. But first place, this is a kind of a tough one because Turkey this is their first cup since 02, I think, 06, something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you always expect them to do good, but they just disappoint every single year. So I think, judging from this group, I think I don't know. I was going to say Australia, but they're kind of right now. But, I'm a pace... Turkey, I think they're going to come through. In this group, I think they'll come through. Australia, they'll come second. The U.S., I think, will squeeze by. I think they have the parameters to squeeze by, and Paraguay is going out in the groups. We'll see. I could be wrong about this one. Next, we have Group E, Curacao, debut at the World Cup this year, Ivory Coast, Ecuador, and Germany. Pretty obvious who's going to be top in that group. The Ivory Coast, they were a fun team to watch back in 2014. I expect them to make some headlines this year again. Ecuador, I don't know too much about them, but they'll be making third. And Curacao, they're the smallest, no, it's Cape Verde, one of the smallest countries to qualify for the World Cup. So they don't have a very big population. So Curacao, unlike the alcoholic additive, blue Curacao, yeah, you're out. Group F, we have Japan, the Netherlands, Tunisia, and Sweden. Pretty fun group if you look at it, but the first place is going to go to the Netherlands. Judging by the group and how the Netherlands are going to do, yeah, they'll run riots in this group. The second place will go to I want to say Sweden, but my hunch tells me Blue Lock boys in Japan, they're going to go through. If you've seen Blue Lock, go to the anime. Sweden, once again, they'll squeeze by, but they won't go far. And then Tunisia, yeah, even though they did make the round of 16 in the 2022 World Cup, I don't think it's going to happen again. Group G, we have Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand making their first World Cup in, I want to say, like, God, I don't know how long. It's been a while, but first is going to be, Belgium. Judging from the friendly Belgium and Croatia played, this will be a cakewalk for them. And then whoever else is just a battle for second. But I think Egypt will squeeze by. Mohamed Salah leaving Liverpool this season. He will probably come through for Egypt. And they got, despite New Zealand, I think it was New Zealand who didn't concede a goal in 2010. That was just by dumb luck, if you ask me. But Iran, I think, will squeeze through, and New Zealand is going out in the group stage. Also because I think New Zealand is probably one of the lowest ranked countries to go into the World Cup. Group H, we have Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, Spain, and Uruguay. There's just no debate on who's coming first and second. Spain, coming off as European champions, they have a very dangerous team. Uruguay, don't count them out. Obviously, the OGs of the World Cup, winning the very first one. Cape Verde is now the smallest country to debut at a World Cup. This is their first World Cup, dethroning Iceland's title. But third place is going to go to Saudi Arabia. They're regulars at the World Cup. This is going to be easy for them. They'll have some trouble with Spain, obviously, but they'll give Cape Verde a good thrashing. And Uruguay, we'll see what happens. And Cape Verde's gone. Group I. Now, this is a tasty-looking group. France, Norway, Senegal, and Iraq. You got arguably the best team in the world right now. Debatable. The best striker in the world in Norway, Erling Haaland. And in Senegal, you got just one of the best teams in Africa, who will go far, in my opinion. And Iraq, their first World Cup since 1986 against these three powerhouses. Shout out my supervisor, but I'm sorry. Group J, we have current world champion Argentina, I say with a grimace, Algeria, Austria, and Jordan. Just gonna happen. Austria is gonna go second. This is gonna be Austria and Argentina will have a battle and then run riots with the others. Jordan debuting at the World Cup this year. But third place, in my opinion, will go to Algeria. They're pretty decent, too, when it comes to the World Cup. Jordan, I don't see you guys doing much. Group K, we have Colombia, Portugal, Uzbekistan making their first World Cup, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Portugal being the only team to have sold-out games at this World Cup. Wonder why. But first place is going to go to Portugal, obviously. Ronaldo is going to make one last appearance at the World Cup. We'll see how far he goes. I don't think they're going to win. I just do not think Portugal will win, but we'll see. Colombia will make second place, despite them being very disappointing as of recent. And I think, even though this is Uzbekistan's debut, they'll surprise us. They're a pretty solid national team recently. I think Uzbekistan will surprise us, and they'll go to the round of 32. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, I don't really see them doing much. And finally, Group L. Croatia, England, Ghana, Panama. Woo! Now, obviously, the obvious will happen. England plays first. Judging by how Croatia played in their friendlies against Colombia, Brazil, Belgium, and Slovenia, winning 2, losing 2, they beat Colombia, lost to Brazil, lost to Belgium, beat Slovenia. So, winning 2, losing 2, sorry. It's pretty, they're going to go second, but they're not going to top the group, but wouldn't surprise me if that happened. But England, their squad is so many unrecognizable names other than Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane and maybe a few others, but who in the world did Thomas Tuchel call up? Genuinely confuses me. But this is what I'm thinking, but I could see, you know what, fuck it. I think this Croatia, they're going to top the group. I do not think they're going to lose to England, Ghana, or Panama. Ghana will give us a scare. But then England will come second, Ghana will come third, Panama's going out in the groups. I think this will happen. We'll see. All right, I don't know what happened. My thing bugged out for a little bit, but now we go on to the round of 32. First off, the El Tri Derby, Mexico versus the U.S. The common denominator lately is that the U.S. has been beating Mexico But judging from how they played today in South Africa, it's not a fair comparison, but that could be a possibility for the U.S. to beat Mexico, but I think Mexico's going to win. Next, we have Bosnia versus Morocco. That'd be a little fun game to watch, but this is Morocco we're talking versus an inexperienced Bosnia squad. 2 players only having World Cup experience in Dzeko and Kolasinac. No, that is not what I wanted to do if you pick Mexico. And then Morocco, yes, yeah. Next is Switzerland versus South Korea. Ooh, that's a little tasty game right there, but South Korea, I forgot how they ended with their World Cup, but they beat Portugal. Switzerland is so hit or miss. They could either be the best national team in the world or the worst you've ever seen. So I think South Korea will pull off the upset. Yeah, I don't think Switzerland will do it. They're pretty inconsistent. Brazil, Czech Republic. Rest in peace, Czech Republic. I know that. Turkey versus Senegal. Now, once again, this is Turkey being Turkey. They could be really good, really bad. But I have a feeling with Arda Güler and them riding the reins with Turkey, as Senegal, they don't have Sadio Mane or Kalidou Koulibaly. Maybe they still do. I haven't looked at the squad. But I think Turkey will pull it off. I think they can beat Senegal. Ivory Coast versus Japan. Now, Ivory Coast, I don't know if they have any knockout stage experience. But Japan, I think they got that blue lock in them. I think they'll beat them. Germany, Iran. Yeah, that's not going to be pretty. Netherlands versus Tunisia. Australia. Sorry. Netherlands, Australia. Yeah, that's a pretty obvious one. Even though Australia did make it out of the group in 2022. Yeah, they played France. No, that wasn't the group stage. I don't know what I'm saying. But, that'll happen. And the other side, we have Belgium versus Austria. What is wrong with me? Algeria. Yeah, that'll happen. Uruguay, Norway. Now, you got Erling Haaland against nobody on Uruguay, really. Yeah. Spain versus Uzbekistan. Yeah. France versus, Argentina versus Ecuador, a little South Korean matchup. It's Argentina. It's the World Cup. Referees. Who said that? That'll happen. England, Colombia, rematch in 2018 when they beat them on penalties, I think it was. And like I said, England's squad is a bunch of nobodies. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Portugal versus Sweden. I think this is a rematch of 2018. And I think Portugal will go through. Sweden, I don't think they have it in them. Croatia versus Austria. The other would be Croatia versus Colombia, barring how that game goes, or how the group goes if Croatia places second. But come on, this is so easily we could beat Austria. Now we are into the round of 16 with Mexico versus Morocco. It could go to penalties, honestly. With the way Mexico played today, I'm judging it off one game, I know. But Morocco, I can see them pulling it off again, and they go through to the quarterfinal. South Korea versus Brazil, the rematch of the round of 16 in 2022. I don't see South Korea doing it again, though. Turkey versus Japan, a little nice matchup there. Japan, I remember when they crumbled against Belgium in 2018, and because they couldn't hold the lead. Could they do it again against Turkey? Yeah, Turkey, I think they're too good for Japan. I think that'll happen. Germany versus the Netherlands. Again, I predicted this match would happen in 28-22, but it didn't. Or was it Euro 2020? One of the two. This match always delivers goals. Germany are looking like a very promising side for the first time in a while, having made the semifinals of the Euros. And the Netherlands, well, they haven't really done much. Germany has gotten way better over the years. Granted, Toni Kroos is retired, and a bunch of the other players that we know are gone. But I previously would have said the Netherlands. I'm picking Germany. I think they can come back. Next in the round of 16 would be Belgium versus Norway. And once again, Norway with Erling Haaland, probably the most dangerous striker on the planet right now. Easily. Spain versus France. This is a tasty, tasty game right here. You got two of the best teams in the world facing off against each other in the round of 16. The European champion versus the two-time finalist in the World Cup, and 18 winning it, 22 finalists where they almost pulled it off. But I think, if you ask me, France will be too much for them. I think France knocks out Spain. I think if that were the case, this would happen.
Argentina versus Colombia, another South American matchup. And once again, Colombia, Argentina kind of has their phone number. So, yeah. Portugal, Croatia. This is a rematch in 2016 when we crashed out in Euro 2016 in the round of 16, i.e. my first heartbreak in football. Oh, man, if this happens, I don't know. I'd be so torn on if we can beat them or not. But because this is the World Cup and we'll bank on penalties, it could go to penalties if you ask me. I hear me out. Hear me out. I could see this happening. I could see that happening. Next up is Morocco versus Brazil. This is a rematch from 2022. Did they play each other in 2022? No, I don't think they did. But this is the first time they're meeting each other, the quarterfinalist versus the semifinalist. But Morocco, I think this is where your trip ends. Brazil kind of have a decent looking little squad, even though Vinicius Jr. has had a very horrible season at Real Madrid. But we go on. Turkey, Germany. A lot of Turkish people live in Germany, so that'd be a nice little thing to see. But Turkey, Germany, this is, I think, where Turkey's trip ends. But I could see them upsetting them in the quarters. So Germany, I think you go through, but I could see Turkey upsetting it. Norway versus France. You got the best striker, like the Erling Haaland, and the best team in the world. That would be a very good game. They're meeting up again, I just realized, in the quarterfinal. They're in the same group. But, oh my God, I think this time, though, France will beat them again because they're just way too good right now. This is a game I wish to not happen because I've the 2022 semifinal, not seen the highlights, and I never will. No matter how much money you pay me, I will never watch those highlights. And again, I don't see if Croatia could pull it off, even though we beat them 3-0 in 2018, arguably the best game I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, I just don't see it happening. Semifinal number 1, Brazil, Germany. Where have we heard that before? Now, it could be anybody's game. Seriously, it's a semifinal. We got two juggernauts against each other. Ancelotti, his first tournament with Brazil, making the semifinal, that'd be impressive as hell. But I think Germany's going to make the comeback tour, and they're back in the final. That's what I think will happen. And then the other semifinal, you got the rematch of the 2022 World Cup final. But if you ask me, this is where Argentina's trip ends. If it were to happen, it's France who will go through and make the semifinal. And then we have our supposed World Cup final with Germany versus France. This would be a good game because it shows how good Germany has come over the years, overcoming the slump that they've come through. But if you ask me, France is a unit. Michael Olise, Bradley Barcola, Kylian Mbappe, friggin' Desiree Douillet, just menaces to society right now. So, once again, if you ask me, it's going to be France. It's just how I see it. But again, they didn't show me the option for a third place game. It'd be Brazil-Argentina. Brazil takes third place. Yeah, that is what I think the World Cup will look like, if you ask me. Although I could see some surprises happening. Croatia, do not count them out. Like I said in 2022, do not count them out. I could see them pulling off upsets. For all I know, I could be completely wrong with all these predictions. Remember, I got one group right in 2022. How many am I going to get right this year? Do you agree with me? Am I an idiot? Let me know in the comments below. This video is going to be over 20 minutes long, so I don't know how many of you fools are going to watch this. But other than that, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys when I react to my predictions of the knockout phase and the group stage. See you then.